Hello and welcome. I am Japper, and today I'll be taking you on a journey through the microcosmos, and we'll be looking at the stentors, the underappreciated tiny giants. The fact that you haven't heard of stentors and they are unknown is quite sad. Now, why are they unknown? Well, what do you think first when you think about microorganisms? And your answers would likely be the water bears, or moss piglets, or tardigrades. They are classified as a mesotardigrade. Now, what are they famous for? They are famous for their survival skills. These little guys can survive the vacuum of space, high pressure, extreme radiation, 120 years of dehydration, temperatures as low as minus 273 degrees Celsius or up to 150 degrees Celsius. And the second thing is that they're pretty adorable, and they resemble bears or piglets. And also, they live in aquatic environment, and the environment is filled with mosses. So, hence the name moss piglets or water bears. Oh, and one thing about these guys, do you see this dot right here? There, it's eyes. But the strange thing is, it's actually not eyes. We'll see. This is in fact a single receptor cell, a photoreceptor cell. The next thing that would come to your mind, but less likely, would be the water flea. The water fleas are classified as a cladostera. Now, what are they famous for? Well, first of all, fish loves to eat them. Second, they're very easy to find. Basically, you can go to any local lakes or aquarium, you can find them. The third is that they resemble fleas, as you can see right here in this photo. Now, the fourth fact about them is pretty intriguing. When oxygen in their environment gets depleted, they turn pink. This is because they increase the amount of hemoglobin inside their blood. Now, here is the video. As you can see, right here, they use these little antennas that looks like eyebrows protruding out of their head to swim around the water. Now, the unlikely thing that would come to your mind would be the rotifers. They're classified as a Sisonidia, the Bedoloidea, or the monogonata. I practiced its name for a lot of times, but it's just a tongue twister. The monogonata. Now, what are they famous for? Well, first of all, there are over 2,000 species of rotifers in the world, but scientists think that there are 90 more of that. The rotifers in the world, it's an estimation. Now, the second is that they're very easy to find, easier than the water flea if you put them under the microscope. Now, if you take a sample from a dirty water, a pond or a lake, and you put it under a microscope, it is certain that you will find a rotifer. The third is that they use these little corona things to draw food into their mouths. Not the corona you're thinking about, the corona on top of the head, right here, that they use to beat cilias to create a vortex which brings food particles into their mouths. And funny enough, this body part which clings them to other surfaces is called their toe. Now, we're not here to talk about the water bears, water fleas, or rotifers, are we? We are here to talk about the stentors. Now, what are stentors? Well, stentors, sometimes called trumpet animalcules, are a genus of filter-feeding heterotrophic ciliates, representative of the heterotrix. They are usually horned shaped. Now, where can you find them? Well, stentors are commonly found in most freshwater ponds, and stentors are usually denser than water, therefore they need something to cling on, or else they'll sink. They usually attach themselves to vegetations. Some of them can build their own houses out of mucus, or they could cling onto other surfaces, where they generally spend their lives on. As you can see right here, with a stentor that has built its own houses out of mucus. Oh, and one thing, this position where it clings onto surfaces is called the holdfast position. When necessary, they can detach themselves using the cilia to move to another location. While swimming, they form an oval or pear-shaped, as you can see right here in this photo. They formed an oval-shaped. Now, how big is stentors? Well, stentors can reach up to 4 millimeters long. That's gigantic for a single-cell eukaryote. Now, imagine 4 millimeters long. That can be seen with a naked eye, and there are bugs in your backyard that is smaller than a stentor, which is a single-cell eukaryote. Size comparison. If this were to be a 4 millimeter long stentor, and this would be a 0.5 millimeter long tardigrade, and this would be our friend, a 0.1 millimeter long rotifer. Now, the third thing, what do they eat? Well, stentors tend to eat algae, bacteria, other microbes, as you can see right here in this photo. Two Stentor caruleus trying to eat a paramecium. A paramecium is another type of ciliates. And they can turn cannibalistic, of course. Why did I say of course? Sorry. They can turn cannibalistic sometimes. Now, how do they eat? Well, stentors are classified as a type of ciliate, as is true of all ciliates. Stentor caruleus have these hair-like structures called cilias. As you can see right here, I mentioned cilias before earlier in this presentation, but we'll get into detail right now. Now, cilias can propel these cells around when they want to swim, and the cilias also can create a vortex which brings food particles into their mouths. That's how stentors feed. Now, what are stentors classified as? Stentors are classified as a heterotrichia, and they are a protozoa. Now, what are heterotrichia? The heterotrichs are a class of ciliates. They typically have a prominent zone of membranous circling the mouth. As you can see, I have circled it for you. These are cilias. What are protozoas? Protozoa is an informal term for a single-cell eukaryote. As you can see right here, I put some examples. We have encountered the parameciums and stentor in this presentation. And amoebas are pretty famous and pretty common and pretty. Other protozoas in this picture is not quite famous. Now, is there another species of stentors? Of course there are. There are estimates about 19 times species of stentors in this world that scientists have discovered so far. Now, scientists estimate that there are 4 times more than 19 species of stentors in the world, but the most iconic one would be the Stentor polymorphus. This type of stentor houses algae inside of it. Now, algae provides food from the acid sugar via photosynthesis. In return, the stentor provides protection. Now, in the microcosmos, when you are just a few microns long, and everything is trying to kill and eat you, it's a pretty good idea to will hide yourself behind the biggest and the toughest thing that you can find. Now, I have been rambling around about what they are, why they're not famous, and what they are classified as, but I haven't tell you about what are they capable of. What are they capable of? What is so special about these guys? Well, you might see stentors as just another micro, but in fact, they're much more interesting than that. Now, here are the facts that we have encountered. Well, of course, some of them houses algae, some of them can produce mucus houses. All of them are enormous, but for these are the new facts that we are going to talk about right now. Now, the first thing that I'm going to talk about is their reaction to mechanical stimuli. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, that is an experiment conducted where scientists pluck out a single strand of hair and just constantly poke this stentor, and the stentor can feel these annoyance, so it's just detach itself from its surface where it originally attached himself to, and swims away to another location where it cannot be disturbed, just like a cat. When it has been played a lot and it's annoyed, it can just go to another location where it cannot be disturbed. Second thing, the light avoidance. Now, these guys, in fact, avoid light, except for the stentor polymorphus. They need light for the algae to provide food for it. But other stentors tend to avoid light. You can find them at the bottom of lakes, or for the stentor polymorphus on the almost bottom of a shallow pond. Food selection. Now, interesting enough, these guys select their own food. Now, these guys, when they don't like their food that it's in their mouth, they can simply just spit it out. That's a trait for a microbe. And the most intriguing thing about the stentors is their regeneration capability. Their regenerative ability. They can be cut into hundreds and hundreds of pieces, and the cut piece will become another cell given time and resources. The requirements the cut piece must contain is a piece of the cell membrane and the part of the macronucleus. As you can see right here in this image, I have labeled out what cell membranes are. The blue represents the cell membrane and the red represents the macronucleus. Now, if you don't get the clear picture here, I have its anatomy picture right here. Here, as you can see, here is the macronucleus, is like a bead-like structures. Now, when it is cut, when it has to contain a piece of the cell membrane and the macronucleus, and it will grow to a normal stentor cell. Now, here is the holdfast where they latch on to surfaces. These are the cilias, where they beat the cilia into a particular way, which creates a vortex, and food comes in here through its mouth and into the gullet, and then gets transported to the food vacuole. Now, thank you for taking a journey with me through the microcosmos and looking at the stentors. Now, I will tell you about the question. I will answer some questions that I have encountered during the presentations before. Now, can you eat stentors? Well, you technically can, but the bacteria which is attached to its surface, which you plug it out from a water source from, there would likely be some bacteria attached to the body, the cell membrane, which you engulf. Now, are they pathogens? No, they are not pathogens. These guys cannot infect you. The reason being that they're too big, they can't, and they simply die when they are in your stomach. Now, can they survive out of water? No, they cannot. They will die. Can they survive extreme heat? No, they cannot. They will die. Can they survive extreme cold, like in ice? No, I think not. They would die. Yes, they would die. Thank you very much for listening. Thank you. I hope you have a great day.